very special kind of athlete. The machine, 600 nitro-fired horsepower. From a standing start, they reach speeds over a quarter mile in excess of 195 miles per hour. Top fuel motorcycles. Over the years, Bristol International Dragway, Thunder Valley in Bristol, Tennessee has seen many forms of drag racing horsepower, but nothing quite like this. Hello everyone, I'm Bob Varsha, along with drag racing analyst Ted Jones, welcoming you to Thunder Bikes in Thunder Valley here on Saturday Night Thunder. Ted, it's one thing to sit in a top fuel dragster and go 200, 250 miles an hour with nitromethane fuel, but it's something else entirely to do it on a motorcycle.
Well, Bob, these are 200-mile-per-hour top fuel motorcycles. They're the top class in IHRA's exciting new motorcycle division. These guys lie on their stomachs, peek out over the handlebars, and accelerate from 0 to 200 miles per hour in only 1,320 feet. They're truly awesome and a sight to behold.
And our first matchup in quarterfinal action in pro bikes here in the IHRA Trail will match Buck McFadder, the number 8 qualifier out of Hampton, Virginia, against this man, top qualifier and bearer of the number 1 plate, Terry KIZER from Humble, Texas.
Terry's bike sponsored by Jack O'Malley and the Orient Express. KIZER, long feared in the top fuel motorcycle categories, should be the odds-on favorite to win this.
KIZER won that number 1 place in a single race championship runoff at Atco Raceway last year, an event seen here on ESPN. But he's going to have to work a lot harder to hold it this year. Good start for both drivers, and they pick up speed quickly.
Look at KIZER out on top, and he's going to have a very easy win on this one. He wins it with a 7.11, 183.84 miles per hour.
Our next pair will match Mark Miller out of Kissimmee, Florida, against Ralph Smith out of Tampa, Florida.
Well, the two Florida sand diggers go at it. Miller with a turbocharged Kawasaki, Smith a normally aspirated Kawasaki on nitromethane.
Good burnout, and you can hear the reaction of the crowd. Listen to these engines.
Oh, the crowd loves these things, Bob. They're truly unique and absolutely awesome. I wouldn't ride one.
It's not your basic, let's go down to study hall on the back of the scooter kind of deal here.
A little bit of conferring with the crew chief going on right now as they were trying to discuss something. He's ready to go to the line. Notice how they actually crawl to the line by pushing themselves up there with their legs extended.
Intense concentration. There is Miller.
You can hear that turbocharger singing and whining on Miller's Kawasaki.
Like most motorcycles, most of the action comes with the hands and not with the feet. Throttle, clutch, brake.
They actually change gears, though, with their foot. See the rod sticking out. He'll take the toe of his foot and change gears from one speed to another using the toe of his foot back there at the rear axle.
Good start. Both are away, and in the left lane, Mark Miller opens up a quick advantage and extends it to the finish line.
Mark Miller, an easy win at a 7.28, 183.96 miles per hour.
I can imagine getting one of these puppies stopped is perhaps even harder than getting it started. There's a look from the starting line. You saw Miller in the far lane get a good jump off the line.
Well, it looks like Miller's going to hold it all the way down. Look at the front wheel come completely off the ground on Ralph Smith's bike in the near lane.
I believe he held it off the ground for most of that run, Smith getting more torque than he did horsepower. Notice the cord now as we take one more look at Mark Miller's start. That's a kill switch. If the rider comes off the bike, that automatically kills the engine. And now our next matchup, number 888, Doug FRIERON from Albany, Georgia, and he'll be going up against Rusty Quisenberry, who made the field as an alternate out of Radford, Virginia.
FRIERON is riding the only Suzuki in this field today out of the 8 bikes. It's a turbocharged at 1,325 cc's.
How about the color scheme there on Quisenberry's machine?
Absolutely gorgeous. He's got matching leathers. Those have to be very expensive to have custom design like that, and the matching custom painted helmet. Beautiful. beautiful showmanship shown today by these professional top fuel motorcycle riders. A look at the instrument panel, and all he gets, it looks like, is probably a tachometer.
Up come the revs. The bikes are staged and away cleanly. And once again, looks like Quisenberry got left at the line. The wheel came up. And FRIERON makes it an easy victory.
FRIERON with a winning 7.63 at 160.83 miles per hour. Notice how they set up, Bob, to let the air catch their bodies because they can't run parachutes. The shoe would snatch the bike right out from under them.
And our final matchup in quarterfinal action. This will be Stu Farrar as he runs the engine up, gets that big tire smoking, and the tire stopped. I think he's got a problem. You saw him gesturing with his left hand. Meanwhile, in the other lane, Steve Drake burns out and gets ready to go.
Well, I'd say the California ace has probably broken a chain. No, he's just lost fire because they're plugging the starter back into it. So he didn't break the chain. They're going to try and turn it over. Let's take another look at that brake.
Big tire grows at the back as it heats up, but he somehow managed to stall it. Now, you see the crew person there shaking her head.
That's right. She's telling him no go. The bike's not going to be able to go, so it looks like it's going to be a single run right now for Steve Drake. The starter waiting for the signal from the other IHRA official, trying to figure out what they're going to do. The starter is motioning the alternate to come in, and I think the alternate didn't see him or something, so it looks like Drake's going to get a single run. The look of agony right there across the face of Stu Farrar. Tough way to lose.
Well, he's got plenty of races still to come in the IHRA Trail this year. A first full season for pro bikes in IHRA competition. And as the crowd comes to its feet, Steve Drake lifts the front wheel and gets a little squirrely. Boy, it's one thing to sit in a 600 horsepower race car, another to hang your leg over it and be right out there in the open air. By virtue of the quicker ET, Steve Drake will have lane choice over Doug FRIERON in one of our semifinals. The same for Terry KIZER over Mark Miller. Let's take a closer look at these bikes now with BRET KEPNER.
In the International Harmon Association's new top fuel motorcycle division, there are several different combinations of motorcycle parts that can be used. One of the more popular is a supercharger and nitromethane for fuel. But Terry KIZER's Orient Express Suzuki is something different. This, believe it or not, is a turbocharged Suzuki engine, 1,500 cc's. With the use of nitrous oxide injection into alcohol fuel. 600 horsepower out of this minuscule power plant. And after the first round, Terry KIZER found the sole problem with this rig, and that was the high gear transmission shift. It was a seal in the back of the transmission case that broke loose, losing all the pressure in the shifting mechanism. Now they've got it fixed, and now KIZER seems confident that he can run in the 6-second zone.
Wow, turbocharging, nitrous, these are really trick machines. We'll have semifinal action from the pro bikes at Thunder Valley when we return to Saturday Night Thunder. Back at Thunder Valley, Bristol, Tennessee for the International Hot Rod Association Pro Bike Spring Nationals. Our first of two matchups in the semifinals will be Mark Miller out of Kissimmee, Florida, who has just finished his burnout, and he will be going up against the #1 man in this first full season of pro bike competition, Terry KIZER, who spoke earlier with our BRET KEPNER.
How do you stop him? No parachute, 200 miles an hour, one disc brake. It's the worst part of the ride.
Well, we've talked about parachutes before, but if you pull one out, you'd instantly go over the handlebar, so we canceled that idea. Basically, like this bike, we've come up with a big front tire on it like the road race guys use, and big disc. I can stop this bike a lot quicker than we could the bike, say, 2 or 3 years ago, which had thin front tires. I could actually smoke the front tire on one of the other bikes to the point where the bike would go to the ground. But now we've got better brakes. Most of the tracks we run at now have better, longer shutdown areas, so it helps us. But yeah, we use up almost every inch of the shutdown area. We generally get to a track. First thing I'll do is go down to the end of the track and see just how good the grass is on the other side of the asphalt.
And in case you turn into a motocross rider, I suppose, at the end of a 200-mile-an-hour run. Terry KIZER, quite a personality.
KIZER in the near lane on Jack O'Malley's Orient Express. These bikes take a lot of time in staging because they just have that one front tire to block the beam with.
KIZER on the left, Miller on the right. Listen to the RPMs. They really zing these things up high. Good start. Looked like Miller in the left lane with his wheel in the air. Got at the start. Hazing of the tire in the near lane. Looks like it's going to be trouble for KIZER and a victory for Mark Miller.
Easy win for Mark Miller with a 7:30, 179.33 miles per hour. Down on top end, Mark Miller is with Brett KEPNER.
Well, Mark, I don't know if consistency was your game plan, but I know you're thrilled after having beaten the toughest man here. 720 at 186. That puts you in the final round, but more importantly, you got past KIZER.
Yeah, well, the bike left real good. I think I left on him just a little bit. In the mid-range, the bike pulled it, spun the tire in high really bad. It come through light spinning the tire. Thought he was going to get me there. He must have broke.
Just ahead of the finish line, he was smoking all the way down, so he was never really chasing you that hard, but that's what you came here to do.
Yeah, well, we got a couple more to go, so we'll see what happens.
By virtue of a quicker ET in the second semifinal, Steve Drake will have lane choice over Mark Miller when we reach the finals of Pro Bike here at the Mountain Empire Chevrolet Dealers IHRA Spring Nationals. Plenty of action still to come your way here on Saturday Night Thunder. Stay with us. We've reached the final round in Pro Bike competition here at the IHRA Spring Nationals on Saturday Night Thunder, and this matchup should be a good one. There is Mark Miller completing his burnout in the far lane. He'll be going up against Steve Drake, who you see here.
Well, it's a pair of Kawasaki's in the final, and ironically enough, both of them are turbocharged, running about 1,425 cubic centimeters. That's a big motorcycle engine, Bob.
I would expect it to be turbocharged if you're going to get 600 horsepower out of a 1.5-liter engine.
These guys are absolutely incredible. They wind these things up to about 15,000 RPMs. They're really pushing those bike motors as hard as they can, almost hitting 200 miles per hour.
There you see Miller, who got into the final by knocking off #1 seeded Terry KIZER. Good look there at the disc brake on the front end. And recall that Terry KIZER said it is a problem getting these bikes stopped from over 190 miles an hour. He said he likes to go check out the grass at the end of the drag strip. Well, here at Thunder Valley, at the end of the drag strip, all you have is the Blue Ridge Mountains. So it could be an exciting exit.
Again, a very close matchup. Their ETs were almost identical in the semifinals.
Up come the revs. They have to do that to get those turbochargers spooled up. Both bikes away. Both front wheels come off the ground. And a big engine explosion for Steve Drake. He has done Miller the easy winner.
Miller with an impressive 7.309, 179.33 miles per hour. We've got to have another look at that explosion. Now watch very closely in the near lane. You'll see two sets of explosions. First one, and then a second one as Drake goes down past the 400-foot mark. Two of them rapidly behind each other in succession as Miller explodes, probably a nitrous explosion because the flame is exhausted so quickly.
I seen a ball of fire come out of that thing. Big ball of fire.
It was a real big ball of fire. 738, a little bit off pace, 189 miles an hour. But it was an excellent race until Drake had that serious explosion.
Oh, I'm telling you, he was out there a little bit on me, I think. I spun the tire a little bit again in high. But it was a good race. Nobody got hurt. That's what we're here to do, come out and have a good time.
I'll tell you, here on Saturday Night Thunder, this is the first major telecast of IHRA's Top Fuel drag bikes, and you couldn't ask for a better man to win this event other than the first 6-second bike rider.
Well, I appreciate it, and I really wanted to win it.
Did the job.
How long I'm going to do it, you know?
You mean there's a possibility you might be thinking this might be crazy?
I'm getting too old for it. The old body can't take it no more. I would be one of those car rides or something.
I'll tell you what, Mark Miller, you've got a strange way of having a good time. Mark Miller, your winner in the first Pro Bike event here at Bristol. Another look at what happened to Steve Drake. We'll be back to sum things up here on Saturday Night Thunder after this. Stay with us. The thunder of fireworks brings to a conclusion the first edition of Thunder Bikes here at Bristol International Dragway, Thunder Valley in Tennessee. Congratulations to Mark Miller on a great victory over Steve Drake. Let's take a look at the way the points stack up now, Ted.
In the Spectro Top Fuel Challenge, Terry KIZER on top at 1,700 points, followed closely by Elmer 200-mile-per-hour Trent at 1,675.
Well, Bob and Ted, we thank you. Our congratulations to Mark Miller. And Larry, Mark said he'd like to try something with 4 wheels. We could strap him in a midget or a sprint car here when it dries out at Raceway Park. But would you like to try what he does?
I don't think I'd like that at all. I want something under me that's going to stand up by itself when it's stopped, not when it's going to fall over. I'd rather have something with 4 wheels on it myself.
No 200 miles an hour straddling a motorcycle.
No, thank you.